So to our next match, and it's the game of the Thebarton Oval between West Torrens and Glenelg, and we seem to say it every week that West Torrens must cause an upset. They've got to start beating sides above them. They're 4 points behind the 5th placed Port Adelaide, but they're up against Glenelg, who had their winning sequence beaten last week. The commentators are David Mackay and Kim Dillon.
Round 16 at Thebarton Oval, the Tigers versus the Eagles. Bruce Lindsay won the toss and is elected to kick to the southern end. And Lee Robson's been a late withdrawal due to the flu. And into the side is Gerard Toohey. So I think you'll find today that Hodgson will do most of the rucking, and Chris Lindsay's gone to full forward and Shane McGrath the centre half forward. Hodgson won that tap, went down. Glenelg couldn't control it. Free kick's been picked out and it's going the way of Ian Hanna. Hanna drives in long, looking for Paize. Paize down, well down into the forward line. He may even be roving today. In fact, he is, as Donovan soccers that ball off the ground. And we'll have a throw-in in the right forward pocket.
Yeah, you picked it early, Kim. Paize is roving today. Of course, Dominic Fatia, the other rover. Paize, we're accustomed to seeing him play on the wing. Torrens just lacking a little bit of bite around the ground, have given Paize an opportunity, and there's his, one of his direct opponents. McDermott get a kick away. Now over the top, Hanna, second kick for the quarter. He drives long to Chris Lindsay. The big fella's up. He couldn't quite gather that in. Glenelg now concedes ground. Gibbs fell at the crucial stages. One of the rare times I've seen him lose his footing. Now McDermott short over the top to Maynard. One hand to that. Not enough. Across the line and out of play. And it appears that Baker has the job of picking up McDermott. No, they haven't. They're now wandering apart. So Dominic Fatia's man just getting away a little bit. Back into play. Hodgson with a big thump. Didn't go too far, however. Over the top, David Kernahan. He tries to force the ball out. And it's not like Victoria, where the players must throw the ball out in front of them. They're allowed to jump on it here in South Australia. There's a few umbrellas just in the front of your screen. You can see conditions very wet at Thebarton.
Yes, the rain just starting to come down. McDermott couldn't control that. The ball's pretty slippery already. Umpires today are David Elliott and Neville Thorpe. David Elliott about to bounce. The new brigade of umpires. Either ruckman managing to get a clear tap away. Salisbury there, the All-Australian player. Full credit to Scott Salisbury. Courageous player. What a character. The ball stumped forward again. Clear of the pack. But once again it goes out of play on the right forward flank for the Eagles. We've had about 2 minutes and the Eagles have done all the attacking.
We should also pay tribute to Chris McDermott, of course, captain of the All-Australian side. Pretty good effort in anyone's language. McGrath up, got the tap down. Player was held when not in possession. Underneath that is David Marshall. He comes up with the free kick. Marshall, a very experienced Glenelg campaigner, playing out of the centre today. Puts it forward. Butterick couldn't control it. Now Maynard through strongly, committed on the ball. He's won himself a free kick. Well, that's what you do in these sort of conditions when you commit yourself. That's exactly what Peter Maynard did. From half-back, he goes for a long torpedo. Deep into the forward zone it goes. From behind the big flyer was Cruz. Now McDermott, kick number 3 for the quarter. He's already firing. It's a long one. Enright's there off the chest. He was held to the umpire. Now they've played advantage. Hanna with the ball for the Eagles. Kick number 4. He's starring already. Short he goes, looking for McGrath, who slipped at the crucial stage. Over the top, young Ashley Mitchell. Number 53 on screen. He's a real terrier, that boy.
He's one of the new brigade at Torrens. In fact, we saw him play in the under-19s grand final last year.
Yes, he's a pretty good player too, son of Dennis Mitchell, former Eagle great. There's Ashley Mitchell, first touch of the ball, held over the top of the ball, but he still won himself a free kick, the youngster. Critics at West Torrens are pretty keen on this boy. He put that well to Weston. He couldn't control the ball, however. Glenelg butters up. The handball off to Donovan. Donovan out of defence. Goes long. Little push in the back. McDermott put it on Harper. Harper went in strongly.
Maynard it was.
In fact, Maynard was the player. But Harper, good strong work for the Eagles. Well done. Pisani now picks up the ball around the corner. Well directed, Bruce Lindsay. Off it, turn it goes. David Putt, the runner, puts it through centre half forward. McGrath's got a big mark in front of Murphy. That's what the Eagles want, that big fellow firing at centre half forward. Of course, Robson was named there. That's a beautiful long kick. Deep into the goal square it goes. Just offline, however, and through for one behind. So the Eagles are certainly doing all the attacking.
Well, he kicks a mammoth ball, Shane McGrath. A huge kick. Gibbs. It's cool as ever. Short pass over to Carey. Carey spears one out and it hits Salisbury right on the chest. Great disposal. Salisbury with the drop punt again. Maynard front position, takes a mark. Should be a couple of great duels out there today. Cruz and Weston. Harper, whilst Maynard is resting back there. Tavish. In fact, it's Kidney.
Oh, and didn't he get offloaded? Ian Hanna it was who came through and shirt-fronted young Robert Kidney. Good strong work by the Eagles follower.
They're both pretty physical players, Kidney and Hanna. Hodson up high, rucking pretty well in the early stages of this game. Oh, Maynard, super handball, very quick out to McTavish, around his body, and right underneath that, and he takes a safe mark. Plays on quickly out towards Foot. Foot's been in good touch in recent weeks, playing in the centre today. And he centres the ball towards Weston. Intelligent, dumps that ball over his head. This allows young Mitchell with the run of it. He has time to steady. Thought about the handball. Runs to centre half forward. Drives it in long to Lindsay. Tried the one-hander. Held. Play on the cool. Now Lindsay in there again. Tries for the snatch shot. The ball goes straight up in the air. McGrath underneath that. Paize there as well. Taken by Murphy. Well smothered by Taylor. And eventually the ball forces its way over the boundary line.
Well, one of the things I've noticed is the Eagles' forward line is much more desperate today than we've seen them in recent weeks.
Well, in 2 games out of the 5, it's do or die today. They really have to win today to be any chance at all.
Yes, crucial game for the Eagles. Lindsay got the tap down to Paize, who has a stab and goal. It's a beauty, right through the middle. The Eagles first. That was great combination. Chris Lindsay got it down to Paize, the rover, who snapped truly a goal for his first, and the Eagles are in front.
Well, we mentioned before they've done all their attacking in these early stages. The Glenelg side's only gone into the forward line once. And Torrens have probably done it on 4 or 5 occasions. That time it was Chris Lindsay with a great tap behind, and Andrew Paize, who's roving today, picked it up and snapped truly for the Eagles' first goal.
Back at centre, Neville Thorpe. Even in these conditions, he's bouncing. That's a good effort. Hodson with the tap down. Down it goes to Hanna. He couldn't quite control it. McDermott came through strongly and thumped it forward. Pisani couldn't control that one. There's McDermott again. Off to Cruz. Almost a throw. Kidney. Now he can control it. Elects to go short, deep into the pocket. And he's found Butterick. That's another battle today. Morfitt and Butterick. Of course, Morfitt we're used to seeing play at centre or half forward for the Eagles. Today playing half back. Picking up young Craig Butterick. 45 metres out, the angle will be very difficult. He puts it up nicely. Oh, he's got it. What a good goal to Craig Butterick. That's the reply that Tigers needed. Oh, and who'd have thought he could have kicked it from there?
Well, Butterick was the bogey man last time these 2 sides met. I think my memory serves me correctly. He kicked 7 goals. A fine display of aerial work and accurate kicking, just as he did then. Tucked away on that boundary line. He's put it right through the middle. Quick reply.
1 point separates the 2 sides. 8 minutes gone, first term. Hodson didn't get an opportunity to have a thump at that. Carey got it down. David Kernahan kicks deep into the forward zone. Coming across Maynard, he almost took the mark in front of that pack. Well done, Mitchell to Weston. The long handball over the top. Paize roving. Off again to Mitchell. The young rovers, the young wingman's running well. Now to Foot, deep into the forward zone it goes for Tiers there. Up to before acceptances. Oh, well tackled by West. Now Taylor, there's some physical work going on out there. That's a great tackle by Baker. Now Bruce Lindsay. Back to Weston on the left foot, down from half back. Chris Lindsay thumped it forward. Now out of defence, Wayne Stringer. So it's a good passage of players, both sides desperate at the ball.
Well, that was super football by both sides. Bodia thought he had a chance. He turned around, ran into a brick wall. Taylor had an opportunity. The same thing happened to him. Desperate work by Glenelg. Great defensive play. Got 40 metres around from the West Torrens goal. Carey with the tap. Straight down to McDermott. Gets the clearing kick away. Underneath that is Mitchell again. He's opened the game up in great style. He's prepared to give the ball out to him. Wasn't a good handball. He'll have to work hard to make up for that error. He's being pressured by Kernahan. Over the top of the ball. Trying to keep the ball in the area. Desperate work by Ashley Mitchell. Eventually umpire, as the ball just works its way clear, umpire Neville Thorpe decides to blow the whistle.
One thing you've got to say about Ashley Mitchell, he certainly doesn't give up.
Hodson, big tap. Out the direction of Mark Hewitt, former Eagle. It's rumoured he was keen to come back this year too. He's been in pretty good form in the last 4 or 5 weeks. And of course, Scotty Salisbury, All-Australian, so is Chris McDermott. And Graham Corns selected as the coach of the Australian side.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job, the Bays. Hodson spins out of trouble with the left foot. Forward again. Bays roving, doing it pretty well. towards the goal square he goes. Taylor's in front, took front position and was infringed as he went at that ball, so he worked pretty hard for that free kick. Donovan it was the offender. Kevin Taylor still with that elbow heavily strapped. We saw him injure that against West Adelaide about 5 weeks ago. Obviously still giving him some trouble. Taylor lines up, 25 metres out, not quite directly in front, but the angle is only very slight. Takes plenty of time, deliberately. Lines him up, Chris Lindsay indicates it's a goal, so does the goal umpire. There's the 2 fingers, 2 goals onto the board to Torrens. They've opened this game pretty well.
It's been a great standard of football. Taylor made front position, that's why he won the free kick. The player was over the shoulder and slightly in the back, and well, he's tended to spray his kicks for goal somewhat this season, but that one went straight through the middle. It was a good start for the Eagles. 2-1, Glenelg trailing on 1 goal.
Neville Thorpe puts the ball to ground again. Another good bounce. Hodson again with a tap. Bruce Lindsay thumped it forward over the top of that Wayne Stringer. He was brought to ground by the legs. Umpire said trip. Off he goes with the free kick. Changes direction of play. Did that pretty well. Wide it went to Maynard. Harper gave him plenty of attention. Now Mitchell, another possession off to Bruce Lindsay. Now Weston playing a good game at centre-half back already. That one's high in the air, however. Gave Eichner no opportunity, but what a good mark taken there by David Kernahan. Kernahan and Eichner will be direct opponents today. Eichner playing at centre wing. Cruz infringed against Weston.
Well, Weston's covering an enormous amount of ground. We've already seen him having a shot for goal. He's run down into the forward lines on a number of occasions. Lindsay spears out a pass. He's hit Bodier on the chest. The Eagles mean business. Short kick in, looking for Taylor. Put him under the hammer somewhat. That ball was easily fisted away by Mark Donovan. And you see Kevin Taylor indicating just to keep the ball in low. Put it out in front of this fella, and he's got every chance in the world of doing something with it. McGrath takes front position. Carey with the tap, though, bodied him out of the way beautifully. Now the handball from Murphy over to Stringer. Wayne Stringer's kick across the ground. Out there is Grenvold and Hewitt. Hewitt leading in the chase, being well pressured by Mitchell. The ball's been punched forward and kept in play, though. Good football. Hewitt back turns around. Evades the tackle of Hannah, then gets the ball over towards... Didn't pick up that player, Tavish. There's a big mark there. Taken by Enright. Enright back towards Morford. The Eagles trying to play on at all costs, and it's cost them on a couple of occasions. Morford in there again, working hard. High tackle. Scott Morford, the new recruits to the Torrens club. He's had a pretty good season too. He puts that ball out in front of the running Hodson. Hewitt intercepts and receives a free kick for another high tackle.
Yeah, well, not sure about that one. The umpire was the man right on the spot. Mark Hewitt goes down the outer side. Cruz was up for the fly but couldn't quite control it. Now over the top of it, Bob Enright. He got a push in the back, said the umpire. No, he didn't. He said he'll have a ball up. So pretty desperate work by both sides. Glenelg, of course, renowned for their vigour. The Eagles are pretty strong.
2-1 plays 1 goal. Time clock not working here at Thebarton Oval.
Yes, it's almost 15 and a half minutes gone. That's a guesstimate.
A guesstimate?
Yes.
Nice word.
Well, there's about 10 minutes gone and I started my watch, and that's 6.5 minutes gone, so let's work off that as Hewitt goes forward. Max Cruz underneath that one again. Weston with the spoil. He's doing a pretty good job on Max Cruz. You can't give him a sniff. Bruce Lindsay over the top, put Cruz in a headlock. You could see Max appealing for the free kick, but the umpire was having none of that. Again, Neville Thorpe will put the ball to ground. Carey and Hodson. From behind it was Butterick who got the tap. Foot got the quick kick away. Underneath that one, Marshall. Off with the handball. McTavish under plenty of pressure, and that's the way the Tiger players have been all day. Eichner over the top of it. Kernahan. Free kick, Eichner. Umpire said he was tackled too high. They're right on the spot today, the umps. Paize. The Eagles are switching play. They're coming grandstand side. That kick's put well out in front of Kevin Taylor. From behind Donovan, another big thump away. And Kevin Taylor just a little bit frustrated by the way the ball's coming into the forward zone. He'd like it nice and low.
It doesn't give you much chance when it comes in that high. The backman's delight. All thrown in. Carey front position. Tap straight down to McTavish. Couldn't quite get that, and I can assure you it's pretty cold here at Thebarton Oval today. In fact, it's freezing.
Yeah, we've got a couple of former Glenelg players here watching the game, Tony Simons and Tony McGuinness, and they reckon they've brought this weather with them from Victoria. I quite believe him as Hodgson takes the ball out of the ruck. Off it goes to Bruce Lindsay. He places the ball well out in front of Chris Lindsay. In front of him, however, big James West has taken a good, strong defensive mark. He also changes play. To the outer he goes. Mark Hewitt underneath that, just in front of Ashley Mitchell. In turn, it goes to Marshall. Marshall cleverly around foot. Did that pretty well. Tried to get off the handball, but there's that player, Ashley Mitchell, again. Did that pretty well. In fact, Marshall was holding him. The umpire said Mitchell has the free kick.
It's been an encouraging start by Mitchell, and it wouldn't hurt his confidence. He's been prepared to give the ball away, and well, they're lucky to get out of trouble there. Certainly has a good sense of team play, but he's putting his teammates under a little bit of pressure. Ball taken off the pack by McGrath. His snapshot is a little bit wayward, and it goes out of bounds, not quite on the full. Have a throw in on the left forward pocket, only about 10 metres around from the Torrens goal. They're currently on 2 goals, 13 points. Glenelg on 1 goal, 6 points, and we probably have, what would you say, David, about 20 minutes?
Yeah, almost 20 minutes. Been a pretty high standard of play too. Carey and Lindsay go hard at it. Hannah stole the ball off the pack. He snaps at the goals. Oh, just offline, however, a little wide of the mark and through for one behind, but a pretty good effort to the ruck rover.
Be Ross Gibbs to bring the ball back into play. Good to see Ian Hannah back playing again. Nasty facial injury early in the season. He's out for quite a while. As Gibbs drives that to the outer side. Over the top was Hodgson with the spoil. First to recover there was Foot. He taps that ball towards the safety of the boundary line. Tutu plays 1 goal. Torrens currently 2 games out of the 5. The Paize, after some inspirational performances over the past month, went down to the Bulldogs last week. One of the major upsets in the South Australian footy this year is the ball was driven in high to the centre forward area. Enright went up high. In fact, it was Tui. Not Tui, Morfitt. The handle comes over the top to Butterick. In turn to Seebohm, left alone. We tried to pick it up on the half volley, couldn't do so. Now the ball's cleared again for the Eagles. Maynard there, tackled by Enright. And holding the ball, holding the man. See that one again. Peter Maynard. Normally a pretty accurate kick for goal. Be about 45 or 50 metres out though. So it won't be easy from that distance. Angle shouldn't be a problem. Tries the screw punt, but it's a wobbly one that drops short. The Eagles have front position. Hot Dog there, he's working hard in this first quarter. Punts the ball towards the boundary line. Out there, Morfitt received an unlucky bounce. Over the top there is Weston. In fact, it was Wilson, not Morfitt. Play's a little bit hard to pick up once the hair gets wet.
This is a little bit difficult. Just a light rain coming down over Thebarton Oval. Hodgson got the tap down. Maynard dumped it forward. Now Morfitt, the left boot. Underneath that one, Carey. That's a soda pop for him. Pretty easy chest mark. Now goes short. Underneath that one, Cruz. Weston's been as tight as a glove on him today. Cruz got away the handball, intercepted by Bruce Lindsay. Kick heads out towards centre wing and the boundary line. Just beats all players. Donovan was first there for the Tigers, but across the line it goes, and the boundary umpire will bring it back into play. Been a pretty good effort by the Eagles already. 2 goals, 14 lead Glenelg, 1 straight goal. But they've given the Tigers no opportunity to go forward. Bruce Lindsay handballs towards the safety of the boundary line. Knew he was under plenty of pressure. Was quite happy to see it go in that direction.
8-point advantage to the Eagles. Carey front position. Carey won the tap. Got it straight down towards Fodia though. He kicks around his body. Taylor stays back this time. That nearly paid off, but the ball went over his head as well. It's taken by Murphy. Around his body. Eichner stood his ground well. McTavish off the turf. Back to Hodgson. Had a fumble. Pressured by McDermott. Now picked up by Butterick. Tried to get it to Marshall. Good body work, Fodia. Good strong football. Out to McGrath. Oh, it's in the back. And umpire David Elliott was right on the scene then. You can't come from behind the mark. It's been called play on by the umpire. That's not on. Now the ball tapped towards Taylor. He dropped that one. The ball punched by towards Foot. Torrens supporters aren't happy here. Hannah tried to get the handball to Fodia. Taken there by Kernahan. His kick out in the direction. Eichner there. He's got Greenvold to contend with. Fodia over the top to Hannah. He's going to run into trouble. He gets around well. Swings the ball back to the centre. Lindsay there. Couldn't control the ball. Picked up by Hewitt. He runs into trouble. Paize back there. Gibbs off the ground. Donovan. Chris Lindsay dies on top. Desperate work, only about 15 metres out from the Eagle goal. And the umpires received the Bronx cheers from the crowd. A couple of funny ones there.
But I tell you what, the Eagles tackling has got the Tiger players in a bit of trouble. He's very desperate, West Torrens, coming through strongly over the top of that one. Paize's tackle when not in possession, said the umpire. Free kick, thank you very much. 25 metres out, almost directly in front. And Paize already has one goal. In fact, he kicked the Eagles first, the 7-minute mark of this term. Actually, Mitchell, and just on screen, just gives him a little pat of encouragement. As we said earlier, Paize, normally a wingman today, playing second rover. Already he's done it pretty well. Lines up, goal number 2 on the board shortly. Yes, it is. Eagle fans are pretty happy about that. 3 goals to the Eagles. Lead Glenelg 1 straight goal.
Well, we mentioned the tackling of the Eagles side, but in all fairness, the Glenelg defence has been super desperate. On that occasion, they were just a little bit too enthusiastic. The tackle was applied when Paize never had the ball. He received a free kick, only about 25 metres out, and banged it through the middle. 3-2 plays 1 goal.
Good start to the Eagles. 2 goals to Paize, 1 to Kevin Taylor for Glenelg. Craig Butterick has their only major. As Carey got that tap down, Kernahan was held when not in possession. The umpires have played those early free kicks today, but they've been pretty consistent in doing it. Kernahan placed it long. Marshall courageously. He had Morford coming at him and put it from behind. Did it pretty well. Now Shorty goes to McTavish, so they're running into space pretty well. McTavish put to the ground strongly by Fatia. Now, almost a 15-minute penalty. No, said the umpire. Tavish had Cruz short. Next to go long to the square of the long torpedo punt. The left booter swings around. Underneath that one, Butterick. He couldn't control it. Morford can for the Eagles. Out of defence, he goes wide. Looking for the boundary line. It's bouncing in front of Maynard. He just keeps it just inside the line. No, he didn't. Not quite, said the boundary umpire.
Well, that ball must have been out, David, because I can assure you, Peter Maynard's not one to hold his tongue.
No, Max is pretty good with the umpires if he thinks they're wrong.
So that must have been over the line. Ball at the back of the pack. Quick handball by McDermott over to Cruz. Now on to David Kernahan. Running shot at goal from about 50 metres out. Looks pretty good. That's a beauty. Through the middle. Yes, it's gone through. I thought the umpire indicated a point for a moment there. That was a great goal. Well set up by McDermott. Over the top to Cruz. The running Kernahan, who's having a great season. Really having a gem of a year. That's the 2nd goal for the Tigers. There's 2 straight goals. The Eagles still leading on 3 goals too.
Tigers won't let this one go without plenty of fight. Let me assure you of that. 12 plays 20. It's the Eagles by 8 points. Conditions still very wet, but considering the conditions, a pretty good crowd here at Thebarton Oval as Carey gets the tap down again. Fatia stole the ball but was tackled off it. Butterick, the left boot, didn't go too far. Morford working pretty hard at the bottom of that pack, and the umpire says he'll have a ball up again. This time you'll need to throw it up. That section of the ground's just a little bit too wet. Carey used his body beautifully, thumped it down. Harper for West Torrens got the kick forward. McGrath's working pretty hard at centre half forward. He controls that one very well. Swings on the left boot, goes long. That's a ginormous kick into Chris Lindsay. At full forward, the big fella's got it.
Didn't hold it.
Oh, the umpires have paid it. The crowd thought he had it.
No, he didn't have it hold long enough, I don't think.
Well,
good decision.
David Elliott, the man on the spot.
If anything, I think he gave Jimmy West a little nudge in the back.
Yeah, there might have been one of those there too. Elliott, 25 metres out from the West Torrens goal mouth. Will have a bounce. Doesn't go very high. Chris Lindsay, the height advantage over Carey, got the tap down. Bit of tunnel ball going on. There's a push in the back. Maynard it is, comes up with the free kick. Changes direction, comes out wide. James West with the ball. He goes short underneath that one. Kernahan and Eichner go at it. Eichner kept his feet, did it pretty well. Now centres the ball underneath that one. Carey. Taylor from behind. Oh, he nearly took a screamer. Saw him take a couple of those a few weeks back at Football Park, almost another beauty. As Maynard out of defence, goes long, in right underneath that one. Oh, good mark, in right, you'll have to pay that. Did that pretty well running back into play. Kept his eye on a pretty wet ball and held it well. Kick is long, Hannah's underneath that one. Glenelg from behind the spoil. McDermott, now he controls it, off it goes. Stringer, under pressure. Hodgson will be underneath this one. Solid out looking for Paize. McTavish pushed him off the ball. Now an opportunity for Harper for West Torrens. Tunnel ball, McTavish off the ground. Now Marshall. Well, Paize's tackling is very strong. Weston was held by McTavish, no free kick. Now Harper looking to paddle it forward, couldn't. Enright, he can. Met solidly. Weston across the line out of play, and the desperation of both sides here today is to be commended.
Just getting back to that tackling of Paize, for a lad that's only 17 years of age, he's an exceptionally good tackler. I don't think he's quite turned 18 yet. Only a couple of days ago it must have been then. As far as I know, he's 17 anyway. He's an extremely good tackler. The ball comes out towards Bruce Lindsay. Out towards the man we're talking about, Fodia, very close to the boundary line. In fact, he's been taken over the line, and so is the ball. So have a throw in on the grandstand wing. It's been a pretty good game of football. 3-2 plays 2 goals. It's been raining right from the start of this quarter, the opening minute. It's pretty slippery out there. Neither ruckman able to win the tap. Mitchell looking for free kick. Hodgson eventually gets it. Kicks the ball away. Gibbs there. Wayne Stringer. David Foote weaves his way through the pack. Back out towards Eichner. The kick is misdirected. It's gone over the head of Gibbs, though. Not showing much pace, Ross Gibbs. He'll probably end up with the ball, though, knowing Gibbsy. And he does. He was just trotting behind everyone then. What a character. It's a wide kick. It's a good clearing kick. Out towards West. He's got too much toe for Chris Lindsay. It's time to set something up. The handball wasn't good. Eventually finds McDermott. McDermott puts in a long ball. The spoil away by Harper. Taken by Salisbury. Handball out towards Kidney. Budrick, strong body work. Wilson in there. And eventually the ball works its way over the boundary line.
Yeah, Budrick showed a good deal of desperation. Rain coming down heavily now at Thebarton. Won't make conditions all that easy for the players, but it's been a pretty entertaining game already as Cruz at the front of the pack brought it to ground. Salisbury threw it out. Wide, McDermott now with desperation. Bruce Lindsay first there. Off the ground, Weston. Clearing kick, considering. Murphy was held by McGrath and has won himself a free kick. So that's been a pretty good battle today. McGrath having one of his best games for the Eagles. Murphy at centre-half back, no slouch either. Murphy looking for Carey underneath that one. Carey thumped it towards the Glenelg goal, but picking up the crumbs as Pisani comes back through the centre. Baker was pushed off that ball, no free kick. Donovan through strongly, can't quite control it. It's like a cake of soap out there. Now the handball goes out. Baker over the top, held again, no free kick. Carey off the ground, that's the thing to do in conditions like this. Kidney, Pisani, umpire, ball up.
Very similar players, Kidney and Pisani, both low to the ground. Very muscly and stocky players as the siren sounds. Then a good first quarter of football. The Eagles 3 goals, 20 points. Glenelg 2 goals, 12.
West Torrens led at quarter time by 8 points, but for the final 3 quarters it was all Glenelg. They led by 10 at half-time. In the third term, the Tigers kicked 4 goals to 1 to lead by 28 points and ran out winners by 18 points. For Glenelg, John Seebohm 3 goals, Robin Kidney 2, while for West Torrens it was Kevin Taylor 3 and Andrew Paize 2. So Glenelg, after losing last week, are back in the winner's circle and in fact have gone to 3rd place, and a pretty smooth performance, Darryl, by the Tigers considering the conditions.
Yes, I think they were in a little bit of trouble early with Hodgson doing well against Carey, but when he went centre-half forward, Peter Carey, the bulk. Too much bulk for Chris Lindsay at this stage of Lindsay's career. But they're so balanced now with Marshall at centre, and Donovan and Grenvold are playing well, and James West at full-back is a real plus for the Bays.
And once again it appeared to be missed opportunities for West Torrens. They dominated most of the first half.
Yes, they've had a couple of games early in the season when they were really inaccurate and lost vital points. I think it probably means now that's, well, it's definitely the end of West Torrens for this year, but under Western they've made great progress, and with players like Wilson and Mitchell in today, they're starting to look to use their juniors well.
Apparently the young defenders from Glenelg, Grenbold and Donovan played pretty well today.
Yes, they're good players. They're now gaining some experience and, well, Graham Corns must be delighted, whereas early in the season he probably didn't realise that Craig Butterick was as good, and the 3 or 4 of those players are players of the future.